Hey, Mike, what do Kelly Slater and PT have in common?
I don't know. They're both world champs?
Nope, they both own Endless Summer box set.
Oh my God, rad. You guys, you can get it too. The link's in the show notes. Hey, this is Mike with the Quivercast, brought to you by quiverbuilder.com, an online community where you buy, sell, and surf for your next magic board. All right, now we're going live.
Scream for me, Long Beach. All right.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Mike here with the Quivercast, and today our special guest would be Dave Hegstrom. Do I say your last name right? Dave?
Hegstrom, yeah.
Hegstrom.
Nice
All
Swedish
right.
name.
Oh, it's Swedish name.
Yes, sir.
So what's going on with you, Dave?
A lot of stuff's going on with me, man. I've been surfing a lot.
All right, we'll talk about that.
Not skating as much. Got to choose my battles when we get into these. We're over 29 now, so got to choose my battles. I pick and choose on the skate battles a little more, but I'm still up for the surfing every second of the day if I can.
Okay.
First.
So let's talk a little bit about surf. Have you surfed? When's the last time you surfed?
Well, I went to go check it out this morning, but it didn't look so hot, so I didn't surf this morning.
Was there a south wind or just no waves?
Both.
Okay.
Well,
The worst combo ever.
Yeah, and I didn't feel like goofing out on a longboard and high tide stuff. So
That's true. Yeah, it might be getting better I think it's just building swell. All right. So how much do you surf?
I surf as much as I can, which would be like at least 3 to 4 days, 5 days a week, sometimes more. If there's waves every day, you know how it is.
Yeah.
We're on it every day.
Okay.
And sometimes several times a day I bring different boards with me when I surf, and bring several wetsuits so I can surf different places on the way back and stuff. If some place I surf in the morning is good on a high tide, and I'll come back and surf the low tide spot on the way back on my different board that I have with me. That kind of stuff. Just mixing it up.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your quiver. What do you got? I see, what is that, 15 boards or 10 boards right there?
I don't even know anymore, but I used to, I was...
and everything. You got a single fins?
Yeah. Back in the late 80s and the early 90s, I started collecting shortboards, and there's a few dudes that did it back then. Everybody was starting to collect longboards.
Okay.
I didn't like collecting longboards because I didn't like the way they rode, because they had those crappy rails in the back and they're heavy. And then I didn't like lugging them around, because they're big. So I started collecting shortboards and riding shortboards from every era. And I was one of the biggest, had the biggest collections of anybody probably in the world as far as shortboards went. I owned every shortboard manufacturers, famous guys' boards, makers' boards for every different guy. We're talking, Robert August, Steve Rome, Dino Fish, David Nueva boards, single fin Tom Parrish boards, lightning bolts, you name it. I've had every rad, original Bing Bonzers made by Mike Eaton, rest in peace. Many Bruce Jones boards, rest in peace. Signed by Bruce, who was a neighbor of mine, so what I ended up doing is, over time, I rode all these different boards. I probably had a couple hundred.
Oh, rad.
And I rode them all. And I was known for riding these weird boards all the time everywhere. And people would just give them to me and stuff. Like, hey,
Okay.
Dave, you ride these weird boards.
Stoked.
I got this board. They just come to me, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I just ended up acquiring this huge collection, not even having to pay much for them. And I'd fix the stuff and fix the ding repairs, and I'd have certain dudes around town that could match color for me, do it and stuff, and that kind of stuff. So
like getting it perfect.
I was trying to make them good, yeah. I had like rad early Almer. I got into like everything, the early thrusters. I got a bunch of those. I had Joey Moran's board.
Rad.
Chambered, super light and high performance. I had Tom Curran style thrusters from Channel Islands.
Okay.
And all these.
Did you ever get a Tom Curran board? One of his?
I've ridden one, but I didn't buy it.
Okay.
That's a whole different story. But but I ended up sampling all these boards.
Okay.
and realizing what was for what and why things were and what the things made them do on the back. And
are you talking like 80 era, like 80s? Are you talking about 90s or all both?
It was like it encompassed like the 80s to the 90s and through the 2000s. I was just riding all these weird boards, and about the collection got huge around the early 90s. It got really big. In the mid 90s, I had a couple hundred. In the late 90s, I had for sure a couple hundred. And it was short boards.
Yeah,
they're twin fins, single fins. Fishes, guns.
Mostly Southern California.
I had Shane Horan's personal Linden single fin, 20-inch tail.
I had one of those.
Insane.
I had one in high school. I had one.
Insane.
No leaf plug on it or nothing, right?
Just fatty, dude. Fatty.
Did you have the keel fin?
Yeah. I had a light blue Lexington keel fin.
Yeah.
It was shaped by Gary Linden. But yeah, anyways, I had all these boards, dude, and I rode them all. And times were getting tough. 2008 or whatever, and all this stuff. And then the divorce started. Times started getting hidden up.
Personal life. Yeah,
personal life got involved, and the divorce year started. So I had to take these boards, and the thing that made me sane about getting rid of my boards was that they were made for somebody else. And they weren't made for me.
Okay.
So I rode them, and I sampled them, and I knew what they were all about.
Yeah.
And it helped me pass them on. So I really did. It helped me like mentally get rid of it, so I wouldn't be attached. It was like chicks. They're like women. Dude. Your surfboards are like your chicks.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're married and you got a nice gal, but just saying, So I love these things, and I didn't to let go of them easier to make the money because the money was good at that time. People weren't. Yeah, and so I mean, as far as the buyer's market went, it's not like it is now, but it was good. I was the only dude around with all those boards.
So you were the collector.
Yeah, at that time.
People were looking for
so I sold
become a collector.
Yeah, and I sold a shitload of boards. I sold them.
Really?
Yes, like at one time.
So you were like. Yeah, I see. I never need. Yeah. I wish I would have thought of that.
It ended up helping me out and financially for a while. And like I said, I sold all the boards that weren't magic, and the ones that I kept were like my Dino Nueva fishes and stuff that were the magic boards for what we like to surf around here and all that. So I kept one or two boards, and I whittled my quiver down to just the boards that are made for me. So what you see here is magic. It's all made for me.
These are all custom
boards, and they're
You got rid of all the other ones?
Everything. There's no collector board in this whole thing.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, and these are modern longboards, nose riders here by my friend Bob Kennedy, Bobo, of Boss Surfboards fame. Guy's a legend.
Where is he from? Out of here?
He's from he's from Riverside, but he's a Malibu nose ride legend.
Okay.
And he's a San Onofre legend, and he's a legend all over the world. People know him, and he gets a heck of a lot of dough and acclaim from all over the world, in Japan and France and wherever there's a longboard surfing. People know who Bob Kennedy and Boss Surfboards are.
Yeah, I've totally heard of him.
He's been at it for a long time. If people were going into Sano for the last 20 years, right when they drive in, coming into the parking lot, they'd see the Boss crew, all the Bobos, all his boards, metal flaked like dragsters and stuff.
So like right at the point, like right there?
Yeah, right there at the end of the point. Those are all his crew there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I met him.
And does he still surf?
He's 10 years older than me. I'm 53. He's going to be 53. He's 63.
Okay,
and
cool.
He still hangs 10 and does the switch fit stuff. He's rad.
Okay, and he's surfing at like San Onofre a lot?
He surfs
all over?
I surf Blackies with him a lot.
Okay, so he's a local guy here.
Yeah, recently his parents and wife passed away, and I've been his little buddy and he's been my mentor and good friend for a long time. I learned how to nose ride from the guy. He showed me how to really truly nose ride, and to really be a rad hot dog logger. He really is. This guy's a
You
super
consider
legend.
yourself a logger?
I can do it all. Like I'm a shortboarder first, but
okay.
I like it all. It's like with my music. I like to do everything. Yeah.
Well, let's start from the beginning then. When did you start surfing, and why did you start surfing?
Oh, okay. Well, when I was a little kid, I was Blondie, and I was a little kid in the ghetto, and before I moved to Long Beach. I was in Maywood, a southeast LA Mexican town. Yeah, Mexican town in LA, and I was the only wedo in town. So, anyways, they called me Surfer before I learned how to surf.
Just a blonde hair, blue eye
guy?
Yeah.
They just Blanco. So basically, I just gravitated towards that. And my dad's best friend, this stony character named Gene Rouse, he was like my godfather. My dad wasn't a stony character or a surfer or nothing like that. He was a jock, but his best friend was. And this guy gave me his lightning. I got pictures. His lightning bolt.
I saw
Lopez.
that picture.
Jerry Lopez.
You're standing by the
blue.
wall.
Yeah, it's blue.
And your skateboards are with it, too.
And that board was my 1st
We'll
surfboard.
post that. You have that picture around?
I'll
find it. Yeah,
it's
we'll
online.
post it on the Instagram, guys.
But yeah, he gave me that board when I was like a little kid, and I just
That started it.
I just idolized that board or whatever, and then so I just started the whole thing, and with the collecting thing. So I learned how to surf and do all that stuff. But that board, that lightning bolt Jerry Lopez, I lost it to some dude that I loaned it to because when the thruster era came in, and we were riding
Single fins were out.
Yeah, and I let my buddy who was learning how to surf in Naples. Yeah, I let him take it, and he took it home. Fucking guy got lost, man, or someone stole.
You want to say his name to blow him up?
Someone
You
stole.
don't have to. I'm just
Paul
kidding.
Walters. No, someone stole out of Paul Walters' garage in Naples in Long
Or he
Beach.
says.
Yeah, so it was the raddest Jerry Lopez. But anyways, that's why when I lost that board, and then I always looked for something that would make me feel like that board again. So all those for collector boards, all the rad shape boards of all the best shapers in the world, I never matched that board still.
How old were you when you got that board?
About 8.
And when was the first wave you got? 8? Or is it a little later?
No, it was about like when my parents got divorced, my mom's boyfriend, who I wanted to kill, he pushed me in my first waves and stuff in Torrance Beach. It's Burnout, South Burnouts.
Okay, yeah.
And so I learned how to surf in the waves and learn about the ocean and stuff at South Burnouts first. And then when my parents were totally divorced and separated and all that, I moved up to Palos Verdes. So from being the lonely white kids called surfer, all of a sudden I move up to PV.
Okay.
And these rich kids are up there. They got all this rad stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm this hobo of a white kid. They're all white too, but they're super rich. Well, there was different actually. It was it was multicultural up there as well, but already up then back then. But everybody was doctors' children. Mm-hmm. You know,
They had money.
Yeah, everybody was highfalutin.
Yeah.
So
and horses too,
and
probably.
I was yeah. They looked at me like I was a heathen, man. But anyways, and I had
How'd you end up there?
'cause
If you wanna talk about
my
it.
grandparents lived up there, so my mom moved up there, and she lived up there and grew up in Lanada Bay her whole life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you surf there? Little side note.
If I want to, I know the
You
place
know
I know how
people?
to, there's 2 places to get down in
Oh,
there.
do you know people there that you're not going to get harassed?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not.
Side note.
But you know what? It's not my favorite wave, Mike. Mike, I swear, it's not my favorite wave. It's not. It's not all that. You know, there's other places up there that are killer.
Yeah, I bet. All right. Well, we'll just little side note since you brought Lanada Bay.
Yeah.
up.
But we ended up. I ended up learning how to surf at Rat Beach at Palos Verdes, which is just below Torrance.
Haggerty's?
It's just below Hags, and there's catches wind swells. There's waves there all the time. Like in the summer, there's west winds every night there, so there's wind swell in the morning. And so I would go surf.
You remember
there.
your first wave?
Yeah, it was a little burger. Yeah.
Okay. Just straight? You remember like getting up
total,
by yourself?
Just straight off, fade off. You get up for a second, goof off, and
So
flop down.
how'd you feel? Were you like hooked at that point, or it was all right?
Oh, I was hook, line, sinker.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were just hooked for the rest of your
Yeah,
life.
my uncle Jim took me out after the boyfriend showed me how to like body surf and boogie board. That's where I went to Rad Beach with the Uncle Jim guy. He was so cool. He's like, he pushed me into my first waves and stuff, and then after that it was on. Like he was one of those South Bay Palos Verdes guys that had a Dewey Weber single fin and
Sick.
a body glove, animal skin, all black wetsuit, and he pushed me into my first ones, and that was it, man. I was like, I'm on it. It was all me from there. It was all me.
So how long did you surf there before you moved over to the other side of the hill, or whatever it's called?
Yeah, everybody couldn't stand me up in Palos Verdes, including my grandparents and my mom.
They were over you too?
Yeah, so they begged my grandpa to take me back down to the ghetto, and I did. I went back down to Maywood, and so I was truly the surfer kid that went back to the ghetto for a bit. And my dad just happened to be grew up in that town, and just happened to be the two-term councilman and two-term mayor of that town.
Oh,
Maywood,
sick. I didn't know that.
So I go back down there, and my dad's this Mr. Mayor guy, all single, revolving door. We're listening to him, just hit chicks everywhere. It's crazy. And I had a good time. It was like kind of rad. My grandpa and I were hanging out. It was just awesome. So then my dad met his loan officer at the Bank of America, and got his first business going. And ended up doing the wild thing with her, and next thing you know, she approved that loan, and we moved down to Belmont Shore to her place. And
From Maywood to Belmont Shore.
From Maywood to
That's a big
Belmont
jump.
Shore. That was 1980, the summer of 1980. And punk rock and skateboarding, and it was rad, and surfing, and man, Belmont Shore was magic, dude. It was sick.
And so you got along well with her. How did you that transition into Belmont Shore? You just made friends right away?
Oh man, just whoever was punk, it was like, okay, surf. It was like whoever was like, hey, I just
Okay.
just show up and hey, everybody was really cool with me. Yeah,
So what were you listening to?
Oh, well, Black Flag, the Germs, Circle Jerks,
Okay.
TSOL, and all, the standard,
Yeah, the early 80s
Dead
punks.
Kennedys and Bad Brains, the good stuff. Yeah.
So it's kind of two different worlds, though, the punk world versus like surf world.
I know, but they're very intertwined at that time.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah, they
Okay.
started out. Long Beach was punk rock.
Yeah, it was.
Capital early. They had the.
Long Beach is a melting pot for sure.
Yeah,
There's everything.
it was like mini LA, just below LA. It was, but more. There's more people socked into that little region.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
insane how in Long Beach, so ahead of its time. And so there was people mixed into the punk scene there, and there were surfers and stuff. Just the famous guys, like were the punkers in town, like Mike Wells and Dean Monterith, and these guys that were full surfers and stuff that were punk rock and
Yeah.
stuff. And Jack Grisham from TSOL.
And he ripped,
I've
right?
known all my life. The guy is he was a madman, perhaps one of the best charging regular footers at Southside Cloudbreak I've ever seen in my life. Dude, that guy shredded.
No,
With his little pink thing on his
little Speedo?
yeah,
Or whatever
his
it is.
flesh colored one too. He was sick. It was freezing ass, and everybody was shriveling. He was just going. He was rad.
Yeah, I saw him the first time, like I don't know, early '80s. And so the Northside was pumping, and he was out there, and he's catching waves for
Yeah.
sure and ripping.
Yeah.
So then you go from there, and where's your local spot? Did you ride your bike over to Seal? Did you paddle over?
Exactly,
Did you live on
Mike.
Peninsula?
You know what's up. Yeah, well, Belmont Shore Heights, but Peninsula, Naples, and
Yeah.
that was that was where we grew up. So that was our little stomping ground. It was like such a great time. We had such a epic growing up. You're just couple years younger than me.
Yeah. I graduated
So-
'88.
Yeah, okay, so it's just like it was the best place. You got it too. It was the best place to grow up, man. I'm sure there was other rad places everywhere, but dude, we're right here.
Yeah, that was fun.
The coast, Southern California, Long Beach. It's a port town. Everything you want right there, and the girls are all there. Everything was it was rad. So we had all the beach breaks to the south of us. We had our own spots. But I would surf. I had this. I fixed up and rigged up this little bike with a trailer on it, and I rigged it up to have all my surf craft on it. It was like a George Greeno-ish looking thing with all this crap on it.
I remember actually.
And I'd ride it over the bridges. And
Over
I
the
would go-
Davis Bridge?
Yeah, over that puppy and hoof it down into Seal and stuff. And we saw so much weird stuff in the middle of the night, early morning hours.
Oh, yeah.
The guy that took me surfing and got me into this early morning surf mantra was this guy, Dave Moore. He's passed away, rest in peace. Dave Moore, he was the first guy. He'd tell me, 4:30, 4:30. Wow, 4:30, that's early. But man, I'd get up and go to the cat door behind his house there and knock, and he'd get up or whatever, and we'd try not wake up his dad. He was the first guy I'd ride across with and paddle across with. We used to paddle from the peninsula over.
Yeah.
And and then north side river was of course, huffing that trailer up and down river was the longest stretch of beach in Orange County.
Yeah, they didn't have a
practically.
bike path back then.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
The
yeah.
sand beach was so long, but I would bring that trailer with all my stuff, and we'd hang out the whole day. And then this other buddy of mine, Roger Top, his dad would take us surfing in his big old huge, Mike Brady. Country Squire with the wooden sides on it, the old station wagon, 22-footer or something.
Is that when you started traveling, getting outside?
Yeah. But he would take us and let us, go to drop us off at Sunset or Cliffs or something like that. And so we learned, he'd drop us off and we'd get there at high tide and it'd be low tide when he'd pick us up, or we'd get there at low tide and it'd be high tide. We learned a whole difference between the whole deal about the ocean and all, cliffs right there. We could park on the side, and there was
That's when you park parallel with the road.
Change right on the side of the road. It was epic. So, the north side was mostly our spot, man. And that's where I know you from.
Yeah.
And I remember you're a goofy foot from.
Yeah.
I remember watching you grow up there, dude. And
It was super good. I don't think the sand's the same anymore, is it? It's a little funky now.
Yeah,
but it used to be like pretty good A-frame peaks.
Yeah, they moved the sand too much out.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, and so it's not like the more swell comes in if it's got more opportunity because there's more room. Yeah. They pushed it out like several. Chad Wells just from Seal Beach Board Riders and Buell Wetsuits. He's the president, by the way,
of Seal Beach Board Riders.
Yeah, okay. Chad just posted a picture of what they've done to the beach there, and he's just like, yeah. Awesome.
I see Chad out all the time too. He'd get Chad ripped.
Good guy.
Dude, yeah, that guy's killing it.
Me and him have never had a problem once, ever in the water on land.
Yeah, he was real mild out there. Cool. He was always high, but he wasn't man
ripping.
He wasn't a lot of words, but he was cool.
But hey, I got to tell you something, Mike.
Yeah.
All right, man. Real quick, I said I was going to say something.
Okay.
All right, this is something I've been saying a lot, but this is something right here. Dude, I was a dick when I was a kid. And because I'm a little bit older than you, I know I was probably a dick to you in the water.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, dude.
And I was a jerk too. So I apologize too if I was.
I'm just saying, so I know
Okay, let me tell you my story about you.
That,
and things have changed.
Yeah.
So one time, I don't know who I was there. I probably was, remember Joel Arredondo?
Yeah.
I remember Joel. So I think it was me and Joel or somebody.
Cool, yeah.
And we were at
This little skinny little buddy, the other guy.
Casey. I pull up to Leo Carrillo and you're there. Do you remember this at all?
No.
And I'm like, what's up, Dave, or whatever? And you're like, what are you guys doing here?
Oh, no. What an idiot, dude.
No, that's all good.
Yeah.
You know, I had an attitude myself, so. No, cool.
I had it all my life, and it took.
We're all
to be
older.
honest with you, yeah, it's the older, but you know what? It takes a lot of energy takes a lot of energy out of you to be a dick. It takes more energy out of you to be a dick than just to let shit go and be cool.
I totally agree with you. I'm a totally different guy now, and I see my son acting kind of like how I am.
Oh yeah,
in the water.
Yeah,
and I try to talk to him, but he's 19.
Yeah,
and he surfs good, but
that's right. What kind of board does he ride?
Well, he's worse at surf ride.
Yeah.
He's swapping boards out all the time.
Lucky,
Andrew Doheny just showed up and he bought one of Andrew Doheny's used boards.
So he's making competition style boards. Huh?
No, Andrew Doheny, kind of like out there.
Okay.
Like, he's like I don't know if he's a new
designs.
shaper, kind of trippy shortboard designs.
Yeah.
But no, he has everything. My son has every time you turn around, he's got a brand new board. He has a Jordy Smith's Smith board.
Nice.
Walked in one of those the other day and.
That's sick.
Yeah, where I don't know
So he's got his own another board every day when he wants.
No, I'm not exaggerating, but
whenever he wants.
Yeah, he's riding all kinds of boards, but I'm sticking. Living in Oceanside now. I mean, there's so many great shapers.
You're lucky, dude.
I'm trying to mix it up at chemistries.
Not to say anything that's bad, but not to blow it out, but Oceanside's rad.
Yeah,
it can be
walled,
cool, but it's rad though.
It's
I
good.
love that place.
It's like Huntington
combo stand. Yeah,
it's like Huntington, but we get more like southwest swells.
Yeah,
Huntington gets more better southeast swells.
Yeah,
so that's a whole. Everyone knows Oceanside.
I don't want to be a blowout, but yeah.
Oh yeah, everyone's been on here.
Yeah, everybody already blew it out.
It's long over with. All right, well let's go. No, you don't need to apologize, but thank you, and I apologize too.
Don't want to blow anything out. Everything we already did.
No, it's Oceanside's blown out. All right. We're talking about all these boards. What's your favorite board? What are you riding mostly? So you're probably on longboard, especially this time of year.
So for on my longboards, all right, I told you,
I like that gun, by the way.
Boss surfboards. Those are my nose riders, right, for hot dogging and hanging 10 and all that.
Are you traveling to do that? Are you surfing Blackies? Are you going to Malibu? Where are you going?
Yeah, I go to Boo and I go Blackies and I go to Balsa and longboard spots. Apropos because this is a good longboard wave board.
But you're bringing a shortboard with you.
Even when I do, I bring I always bring funny boards with me everywhere I go. So I have
those fishes.
Yeah, my fishes have been made by two different dudes over the years. They're both from Long Beach. I'll tell you, the first is Herb Spitzer, Rainbow Bridge Surfboards from Long Beach. He had the only surfboard shop in Long Beach in the 70s called Rainbow Bridge, where the 49er Tavern is right there across the street. Yeah, right in that little thing.
I do not
where the OG Box or DG Boxing is now. That was where it was.
Okay.
And yeah, there's a lot of cool stories about that. Like, he had everybody riding for him before Harbor did, Well,
what years was that?
Like the late 70s.
Okay.
Like all those.
So I started in 1980. So
like Morgan and Sardellis and McCabe and Danny Herrera and his brother Herbie. I mean, his brother Ray and Ray Spitzer's a great guy too that we grew up surfing with as well. Herbie and Ray are freaks. But anyway, so
Right on.
Herbie's the one he's basically the father of the modern fish. He's been quoted as that and said in the 1999 Surfing Magazine's Shaper edition, the triple page pullout thing, it's got his name right under Steve Liss. It's got Steve Liss's name as the designer of the fish, and then it ends with Herb Spitzer.
Sick.
And yeah, so Herbie's from, like I said, from a Long Beach bro of mine, a real big mentor, friend of mine, big brother. So he made me some of the early, in 1992, I probably had one of the early first, the guys in San Diego, they weren't before we were up here in the modern part of surf. They made their own movie about themselves, but anyways, the deal happened up here first. I had the first, in 92, I had the first fish that was shaped off a dyno that Herbie made me, and I took it to HB Fiberglass. And Matt Bettis and all the dudes that worked there were just scoffing at it, going, "This thing looks like a kneeboard, man," and all this. And I'm like, "Yeah, it does." And I go, "But everybody's going to be riding one in about 15 years.
Yeah.
And boy, I was right.
Yeah.
And so anyways, Herbie made that board, and that was one of the first ones that was glassed here on the West Coast at that time, at that big fiberglass place. I mean, back then, HB glassing was one of the biggest at that time on the West Coast. So anyways, Herbie made me those. They're real high performance. I keep them where they're at.
Okay.
Then those ones, the orange, green, and yellow, and those purple, those are all from Foam and Glass. Foam and Glass surfboards. They're from Long Beach as well. It's Joe Sauter and Rick Mitchell. Joe's the guy that does the shaping and the glassing, and Rick does all the pinstriping and coloring and tinning. And everything's fully garage manufactured off of Walker foam blanks and wood fins and fiberglass fins. And you see that freak machine with the purple rail, that thing.
Oh, yeah, those small little fins.
Yeah, that's a 360 machine there. And so, so I take these funny boards with me. So if I go to a longboard spot, if it's better than for the longboard or something, I'll take one of those out and really have a good time.
Cool.
'Cause those things are like riding.
Yeah, super fun.
They're faster. They're riding the front end.
And
of
probably
longboard.
even tide drops out of Malibu, you probably want to ride on one of those.
Sure, yeah. But yeah, if you're in the right mood to shortboard Malibu.
That gets so good, though.
I like riding second point Malibu on my shortboard.
And second is big enough to go all the way into the pier, the first point.
Oh, if you can do that, you're good.
Dude, one day in 88, Sean Thompson was out. I was catching waves from second point to the pier and getting big old backside floaters and landing right on the sand. It was so good.
I love that place. That's some of the best waves.
And it was 6 to 8 foot. Remember the guy, Jeff Ferris?
Yeah.
It was me and Jeff Ferris. Yeah. It was the last day of school. It must have been 87. It was a big south swell. We just fluked it and got
second point, huh?
Yeah, it was 3 or 4 in the afternoon we showed up.
You walked up, or did you come up the back way?
No, the parking lot in the front.
Yeah, okay.
Right in the front. That's why I parked next to Sean Thompson.
Oh, no
and he had
way.
his Volvo. We were paddling out at the same time.
That's rad.
I think I surfed as good as him, but I'm sure I did not. It's Sean Thompson.
Yeah, there's some rad waves to be had up there, but you know what? You got to be careful about the waves you pick because they'll either completely close out and leave you just sitting.
That's
there,
why you sit right at the second point where it almost goes into
kiddie bowls. They call that kiddie bowls.
Yeah,
right there.
it gets good.
Yeah, that's where the wave backs off for a sec.
Yep,
just for a sec.
Because if you're too deep, it's just a wall.
But my
third point walls.
My favorite wave of Malibu is either the outside. We're talking even outside farther than that.
Yep.
Where it starts out really by the rock at third point, where it gets gnarly out there.
Okay,
it's fires though. I've almost drowned out there a few times.
Bro,
dude. Me and this one other guy were out, and it was solid 6 foot anywhere in the world. They would have said in Hawaii. They would have said 6 foot.
Yeah.
It was pumping, and I was sketching, dude. It was so lined up. I was like, ah.
Did you get good ones?
I got a few good ones, but I was really sketched. I had a 6.6, and it was not enough. I felt like a toothpick out there.
Really?
But the waves were so lined up, dude.
Wow.
And it was just and you could see the backs of them when they do go over the set. You could look over and see the whole back of the wave really stretch for a long way. And how tall it was, and just go, oh,
you have to catch a wave in, though.
Oh, dude, I got pounded. I broke my leash, and I usually don't ride with a leash, but when it's pumping, I had to, and I loved it that day. I was glad I did. But man, dude, I got pounded so hard, and earlier that morning. I tried to surf. It was April 8th, 2008.
Okay.
And it was this big weird south swell that came in, and Leo's. I just happened to be up there, and it was too big to surf, dude. I couldn't make it out.
Really?
I paddled. It was bigger than the rock, and it was going all the way through the bay. It was bigger.
So Yeah, you paddle through that little pocket right
I,
inside.
I tried to get out, and it just pushed me into the bay, dude, where all that sketchy ledges and all that weird
Yeah,
shit is.
yeah.
Dude, you get sucked into all that stuff. It can be like fucking 2 inches deep right here and 15 right there. It's the weirdest shit.
Yeah.
And I was in that stuff.
Oof.
It put me in there right away, dude. And I was on a 6'6". I couldn't paddle in. It was
couldn't get
fucking
away.
stupid. It was
Oh, my
ridiculous.
God.
It was too big to get out. It was too slopey.
And so you went over to Malibu.
So I went to Malibu and almost drowned there. So I almost drowned it there, and then I drowned almost there, and yeah.
Hey, you got a good story. You're still sitting here today.
Yeah. Speaking of drowning, my buddy, a common friend of ours, lives down in Oceanside, Mike Cottrell. He's always trying to get me to come down to surf
That guy's
his waves.
charging.
He's a charger, yeah.
Like,
yeah,
his mentality is completely different than most people's.
Yeah, he's Mr. Positive.
That's fun for him.
Yeah, he likes it. Yeah, he likes to get beaten
big
down.
waves too, and he rips.
Yeah, I'm a hot dog.
And he's riding some of your skateboards, right?
Yeah, he's been riding for me for, gosh, a long time, like 15 years. But we were introduced to each other by a common friend and just a goofy skateboard guy, just a buddy. And then he and I became friends, and we have common friends that are friends and stuff. So, and then he grew up in La Mirada originally, and I have my cousin and my family moved there and stuff. Some of them moved there, and so I know some people from there. He grew up with my cousin Michelle and Richard Armijo and the Ox and all these different guys from the La Mirada crew that were just real nice guys and stuff.
Yeah.
And so yeah, me and Mike became good buddies, and we've surfed together a few times, and we both have a good time. He just lives down there, and I live up here.
An 80-mile difference.
Yeah, it's. I wish we could just get it together a little more. It's about me trying to find the time, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the older you get, the time.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Right on. You want to talk about your skateboarding? You want to stay in the surfing?
Let me
All right, finish
finish
the
up
surf.
these.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
the boards.
So, all right, so we got Herbie Spitzer.
Yep.
Foam and glass surfboards that make these insane fishes. They started out, though, in Long Beach, and they still are. And their guy that started that brand is this crazy legend from Long Beach named Johnny Bragg. And Johnny Bragg was sick, dude. That name is sick. Johnny Bragg.
For sure.
That was his name, Bragg. Classic, dude. He'd be a, squeebus, brah. Anyways, and that's the way he talked. He was this crazy little heroin freak, but he was a rad surf shaper. And these guys make those boards are insane, dude. They're like 13 pounds. They're super heavy. The rails are down the whole way and shit. No rocker in the front. They're the fastest things in the water, I swear.
Wow.
Anyways, they're legit. And then my buddy Bobo, the longboard guy that makes me the Boss surfboards.
Yep.
Those single fins you see over there, those
look super fun.
Freak machines that he makes me. All metal flake like dragsters, crazy flipped up concave rails in the back. The hardest rails you've ever seen, man. Harder than a Rusty from the 80s type of rail. And we got different types of names for each board. Like that red one's the New Porter. Super pulled in gun was super...
So how big is that? Like the orange one, 7 foot?
that one's 6'8".
6'8"? Okay.
Yeah. And so, anyways, those guys down to 6'8" to 6 foot. That yellow one's 6 foot.
Sweet.
And those are some of them sickest.
Where are you riding those at? Beach breaks?
Bolsa Chica, Blackies, San Onofre, The Point, Boo, that orange one, Malibu. That's a machine, man. That board's a machine for that wave. I ride regular.
Like 3 to 4 foot
I
Malibu?
ride regular foot at
Or a little
Malibu,
bigger?
yeah. So I switch at Malibu on those boards exclusively at Malibu. They're really good for that lined up type of stuff. And then
More modern boards.
then I got Chaz made me that orange board.
Yeah, I think
Chaz
sick.
Wickwire.
Yep.
Surfed with him our whole lives. Been just like foes in the water our whole lives, right? And just out of nowhere, his son brought us together about it's been like 15 years or more ago, or 20 years practically. His son's been riding for me, my skate company, and Skaterbuilt skateboards. And he turned out to be a really good little surfer, Sam Wickwire. And he brought me and Chaz together. And I started giving Chaz skateboards and stuff too, because Chaz was a skater from back in the day, and as well as a rad surfer, a very inspirational surfer.
For sure.
But a dick in the water. Rightfully so. It takes one to know one. And so he and I, we've been really, it's been really cool, man, having everything turn around like that. And his son it's rad to when we were kids, everybody hated each other, and
Yeah,
all
for
the old
sure.
dudes hated us, the young dudes
yeah.
hated us, we hated us, everybody hated each other.
Yeah.
Fuck now, sorry. And
That's fine.
nowadays, I go down there and the kids are like, "Hey, Dave-O, come on to the parking lot. I got a spot for you right here." They'll sit there and run a peak for me and let me take off, and I'm like, "This is sick. I never thought of that."
So what do you think of how the new surfers are? Are you talking about like new people that are just starting to surf? Or are you talking about
the Groms? They're
Okay.
like, from like Sam Wickwire's generation, who
a little more respectful than we were.
Yeah, they're just stoked on us because we're stoked on them now.
Yeah,
kind of we
okay.
give back in a different way because we never got it from anybody. So, yeah, so Sam and those kids all turned into monsters and surfers, and so it brought me and Chaz together, and then. I got some boards that are made. I got a Timmy Stamps board that I had
I see that.
made called the 1984. We did that a while back. It's got a hard rail like a Tom Curran thruster all the way
Okay.
from nose to tail, and a real flattened rocker in the front. I love Tim Stamps, real nice guy, and had never had a moment with him in the water, never once on land.
That guy surfs good too.
Very good surfer and a real nice gentleman, real nice guy. Makes great boards. And then my buddy. Scott Scarborough from Inflight. He makes really good boards. He owns this shop in Seal Beach called Inflight Surf and Sport. And his boards, he makes some darn good quality surfboard with a really good rail you can turn. And I got a couple nice boards from him. And then Matt Biolis made me a killer stick too that's doing me good as well. It's one of those like a retro fish. It's kind of like the one they had in that movie, what's it called? The round nose fish.
Yeah.
Redux.
Is that
thing.
a 5-pin setup or is that
It's a
quad?
it's got the 5 thing on it, but I got it as the quad.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, I got the Matt Biolis custom. I traded him some skateboards. He saw my boards and wanted them.
right.
He's like, look at this board. I'm like, you can have it, man. Take it. And he's like, no way. So we kind of traded out.
Oh, nice.
That was kind of sick. And then the balance of that would be those Pizels. So I got some Matt Biolis in there that he made me, and then I got the Pizels, and those aren't for me, but I got them off the rack, and they felt so damn good, and they work so good. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So out of all these boards,
Oh yeah, one more.
the big board.
This 9.0 right here
Yeah.
is a guilty pleasure. Me and my buddy have been working on it
I need to get something like that.
for years. We've been working on this board. It's called the Unhipster. My friend Chris Schroeder, who was a rad high-performance longboarder from the 80s that I used to compete against. He's a ripper, and he rode for Infinity for years. And I met him down at San Onofre through my friend who's passed away, Bob Lose, my mentor, and one of my big surf brother mentors. And anyways, this guy and I have been working on these high-performance thrusters longboards for years. And this is the thinnest rail, like most highest performance 9.0 you can imagine.
Like modern day longboard.
Yeah.
So you're going down the line and kind of hitting.
It's a short board. It's a
But
big
you
short
Can you
board.
get to like the front of it too?
Yeah, but you do a 360 every time. It's not.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't even touch the.
So it's
front
like the
myself.
high performance longboard.
Yeah, it's like you could do big.
But in
huge
the
air.
opposite way of the longboard.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
that's why we call it the unhipster, because there's no cruising
So you
on
piss
it.
anybody off when you ride that thing?
Everybody hates you. Longboarders hate you. Shortboarders hate you. Hipsters hate you. I hate me. No, I'm just kidding. No, boogie boarders. No, everybody. No, it's cool. Just you can throw big airs on it and big tail spins, and it's insane. It's like whatever I can do on my shortboards, I can do it with bigger kind of. It's weird.
Yeah, no, that thing looks sick. I've seen a picture of you on that.
That's
Like
it.
getting kind of vertical, like straight.
That's it. That's what that thing's about, doing that stuff. But
Is that epoxy? Are these all poly?
No, they're all poly. I don't like epoxy.
You don't like epoxy?
at all. But that board though I only ride it at Northside, like I told you before.
Yeah.
Because I don't want any of my friends to kick my butt for riding.
I think you would dominate on that blackies on that thing.
No thanks. No, I don't want to make everybody. I don't want to get everybody all mad at me. No, I don't, my friends all they want me to whatever I try and be a chameleon and ride whoever I'm hanging with or whatever.
Okay.
So if I'm hanging with these guys, I'll ride kind of what they're riding.
Okay,
Or,
you're staying with the group.
My other buddies that ride these boards, I'll ride. I kind of ride those that day
right.
with them, and kind of mix it up that way. And then when I'm on my own,
Because you don't want them on. No one wants to be with a longboarder if you're on a shortboard.
I don't want to be that guy. So.
All right.
That's good that I got to apologize to you about.
No, you didn't need to, but hey, thank you.
I'm
It was
serious.
fun.
I wanted to get because that we were dicks,
I was
we grew
completely.
We grew up being, but you were a good surfer. I watched you. You know,
Yeah.
I watched you from Grommethood, dude.
Yeah,
Every day you were down there every day.
Every day.
Because I
and
was down
I
there
get
every day.
skunked a lot too. I just remember rolling up and going, because this is before, like, I think it was 976 may have just started.
Yeah.
But it was always wrong too.
Oh, yeah.
And there was no such thing as Surfline.
Yeah.
So I'd ride my bike to Seal Beach and it would be like 1 foot and
Yeah.
100 mile an hour onshore winds. Yeah. But I rode my bike there, so I'm going out.
Yeah, no matter what. That's how you get good, is ride those shitty waves.
Yeah. All right. Okay, well, let's talk a little. So we talked about that. Let's talk a little bit about Skaterbuilt.
Mm-hmm.
How'd that start and what's up with that? Because there's a reason why I'm asking that right now.
Skaterbuilt actually came about. I told you my friend Herb Spitzer, Rainbow Bridge Surfboards in Long Beach. Herb was a skater from back in the day, an early Long Beach skater that pioneered the Compton North Long Beach pools.
Okay.
And like he was basically like, hanging with Ice-T's little older brothers, and Ice-T was a little kid, that kind of stuff.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and he would seriously, like so when they would go to these pools, they would bring stuff with them. He'd bring roller skates or old skate stuff.
Okay.
Extra bike parts and stuff. And the kids in Compton, in those towns, that would let them into the apartment complexes
And
to
just
ride the pools
bribe them with that
because
stuff?
they'd give them the stuff. Yeah. So Herbie was well known for that. He actually barred Skateboarder magazine from coming in there and blowing that out.
Oh, nice, smart.
Yeah. Stacy Peralta then was going to bring a skateboarder in there to Long Beach and Compton, and
He was
said no.
smart. Yeah.
Anyway, so him and Waldo and this guy Perry Vance and a few others pretty much pioneered skateboarding in pools in Long Beach.
Long Beach and South Central,
It's North Long Beach,
North Long Beach.
South Compton.
Okay.
There's a bunch of apartments up there.
Okay.
And the Crips and the Bloods run. Then back then it was pre-Crips and Bloods.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the big brothers of those guys basically at that time.
All right.
And
I want nothing to do with any of that.
So yeah, Herbie he figured all that out. Was the rad skater back then. And
Making friends,
and he became this rad surf shaper as well, and so through Herbie, he was ahead of his time in everything he did, and so before the Lords of Dogtown movie came out or the Dogtown Z-Boy movie came out in like 2002 or 3, Herb had like years before, like 2000 or no, in 1990 90, he was already making his own pig style.
Bigger boards,
like Dogtown style skateboards,
yeah.
With the pig type of shape and stuff. Whereas all the boards at that time were like 8 inches or 7.5 inches, and the wheels were barely bigger than the bearings, and everybody was wearing those big ass pants.
Yeah.
It was a trippy era, but it was still kind of cool looking back at it. But anyways, it was the era that skateboarding slowed down. But anyways, and no one carved. But their pants kept them from getting going fast. But yeah, so in that era of shapeless skateboards, there was no one making boards with shape, and so me being a surfer, and I have all those surfboards I was telling you about, I like boards with shape, and figured out that wider boards were better in crappy surf and in surfing. So I wanted to go with that wide board kind of thing in skating, and so Herbie basically motivated me by him making his own stuff, made me want to not make it myself, but get in business and do it and start and get ahead of it, get in there ahead of everybody else,
because you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, because there was none of it yet.
Yeah.
And so it was pre-internet kind of,
Okay.
And then he had a few templates, and the one template I took off of him was my best-selling and my board that put me into where I'm at, and it's called the OG Pig, and it's a 12-inch pig shape, much like the West Humston Dogtown style board, but it's his own real shape. It's Herb's template, and basically what ended up happening there was I formed my own company in like the mid-90s and started having some boards made. I had a partner and stuff, and it kind of went awry. It was called Chiva. Chiva skates. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And we had a bunch of boards made with that original wood pig template from Herb, and they were sort of 12-inch pigs.
Okay.
But it was too early for the market. They weren't.
Okay.
So I remember going to the 1995 or 6 ASR show, and I had mine in hand, and like, you know, Wes Humpson and Skip Engelum and Jim Muir, the dudes that were, you know, that are my partners today, or, you know, the guys that are my peers today in the business, that time told me there wouldn't be a market for that ever again. And I went, yeah, there is, and I know it is. And so I got on it, and so I ended up with the Chiva boards almost coming to market. Had a bunch of people all over the world wanting to buy them from me, and the partner went south on me, and he ended up suing me and stuff, and it was a big, dirty, ugly scene. Gave me a bad taste in my mouth, but I rebounded.
You still had a dream.
Yeah, when the Dogtown movie came out, my son had just been born, and I remember going to see it, and me and Herb Spitzer went, you know, we went together. No, actually, I went with my wife and her Debbie and or my ex-wife, and yeah, we ended up meeting Herbie there at the theater to see the movie. And I remember just thinking, you know what, I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna go on, and so I ended up deciding to make a Skaterbuilt. And I thought about names for a long time. I wanted to be clean and not, you know, kind of drug sounding like the other one was, you know, Chiva, heroin or whatever, you know. I decided that I wanted to do Skaterbuilt, and if I was going to do it that way and rip off the trucker logo and all that stuff, that I got to do it the right way. So I ended up having legal people help me, like, make sure it's 25% different than the Peterbilt thing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then, then out of nowhere, just the internet hit right when I did it. And, you know, all the chat forums and message boards like they had back then, before vlogs and what we're doing now and all that stuff. Yeah. So, and like before Instagram and Facebook. And so we did that. I sold a bunch of boards, man.
Sick.
Yeah, my buddy Kelly Belmar, he made my first batch of boards. He ran Screaming Squeegees, who painted everybody's skateboards in the business throughout the 80s and 90s, or late 80s and through their, you know, 90s and 2000s. And he had his own pool in his backyard and all that, and real nice guy. He was very skilled at engineering skateboard molds. So he made me my first mold. That's right there on the ground right there. That mold right there is 20 years old. Yeah. So it's made thousands of skateboards. And I've got it actually wrapped up. It's going to a new manufacturer in Oceanside. Or no, he's just inland of Oceanside.
Okay.
So, and so that got me started. His mold, him making the boards, kind of got me started as well, having him behind it. And then one day when he was starting to make some boards for me, we decided he had some black Formica, countertop Formica laying around.
Okay.
We decided to put that on as the bottom lamb.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and actually, I think he had some boards that were laid up from Wes Humpston, a Dogtown guy. He was making boards for him too, or the Bulldog Skates guy at the time, Wes Humpson. And he had some of those laid up. So I said, why don't you put some of those on my boards? And so he laid them up on my boards with my killer concave that he made me, right? And it was insane. It was on for like forever. And so I sold a whole crap load of those, like that crap load. I sold a whole shitload of those boards, the big 12-inch ones. And that got me started. And from there, it just, I got to be honest with you, man, I had all these dudes' pictures on my walls that I idolized when I was a kid. And if you would ask me when I was 12-year-old little ghetto kid Dave, you know, they were going to be my friends calling me and doing skate projects with me on.
Yeah, you would have never dreamed it.
No.
That's awesome.
So with this Skaterbuilt stuff and this skateboard crap, I tell you, dude, I got to be honest with you, I've really exceeded, you know what I mean? Seriously, exceeded all my expectations and dreams.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I've done rad stuff. Yeah.
So dreams.
Yeah.
They came true.
Yeah, check the box.
Yeah. Awesome.
I exceeded them, you know, like.
So with skateboarding, you being a skateboarder and a surfer, style-wise, do you think does your style translate or transfer over to the other sport?
Heck yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I do a lot of coaching for for surfing.
Okay.
And that's another reason why I got the Groms on my side too.
Yeah, there you
get
go.
a couple generations of them. And it's like, they're like stoked to see you when they see you.
Yeah, for sure.
And I help Scott and Missy with their local surf contest for the kids. They have a little Grom search thing. And
Oh, nice.
so we put it on. It's totally free for
Where's
the
that
kids. Yeah, they usually have them in Bolsa and Sunset,
Okay.
And that's free for the kids. Any of the kids from Long Beach to HB, and even beyond. The kids in San Clemente come up and surf it.
Okay, cool.
And it's called the Grom Search, and so I help with that, and that's kind of cool. You just kind of give back, and you're able to keep in tune with the kids. So I end up, what were we talking about?
We're talking about style.
Style. Yeah,
So, give me the short version.
I coach kids, and I tell them to skate. That's
Okay.
where I was going with it.
Okay, gotcha.
When I tell them it's me, like, do you skate?
Yeah.
No. They go, no. And I go, well, dude, you got to learn how to skate.
Yeah.
Well, why? And I'll tell their parents, you got to get him, take him to the park and get him on a mini ramp, put some pads on him, and just let him go. And because they're going to get that lip control on the board under their feet, you know how it is.
Yeah.
So
it's different, but it can be the same too.
It can be the same, yeah. It's just the movements and having yourself know about being in the air and having
especially modern surfing.
And then the style, surf style has always been the raddest style.
Right. So the surf style turned into good skateboard style.
Yeah, but now good skateboard style is not as appreciated. Just big stinky stuff's cool now.
Okay. All right.
And same with surfing. A lot of between the legs stinko stuff.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Italo Ferreira's rad, but man, his legs are 40 inches apart, right? His knees are like 40 inches apart.
Yeah, but Toledo's rad, and he has good style.
Right. He's rad. Yeah.
So I don't know.
So so style is like the knees are together. Like Tom Curran. That's what we're talking.
Yeah. Curran, the epitome of style.
And who else was a rat? Jay Adams, rest in peace.
Right.
Jay Adams was the raddest. That guy was a rad surfer. He was charger on any board. He rode the barrel at Backdoor. He rode Malibu. He rode Huntington Beach when he lived there.
Yeah.
Sick.
Guy's nuts, but
but he was sick. He could
in
ride.
a good way.
Good surfer.
Nuts in a good way.
Yeah, but he could surf like every bit, if even better than he could. He was on a professional level on the surfing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He could throw down, dude.
All right, let's jump on.
Yeah.
So, what pumps you up before you go surf?
Just thinking about doing some good turns.
Okay.
Yeah, and going fast.
Okay.
Because you got to go fast first to go do that good turn.
Okay. So you're looking for the speed in order.
Okay. I don't even care about how big it is or nothing.
That was my next question.
Yeah, I don't even care anymore.
Can you get pumped up in 1 foot still at your age?
If it's lined up, yeah.
Okay.
But if I got the right stick, you see I got the right boards to carry me through most of my stuff.
You ever show up and you're like, dude, I've grabbed the wrong board today.
Oh, dude. Well,
much?
This winter, we had, 6 or something in a row, killer, pumping west with long period, remember?
Okay. Yeah.
And Bolsa here, hate to blow it out, but that's just the way it is. I used to work at Surfline, and we charted that out. There's a submarine canyon right off of Bolsa Chica. That's why it just pumps
down
there.
towards where 24 used to be, where the river thing's at. Where's that at?
No, that's
like 30.
It's right at the.
I just remember the old tower numbers.
Main tower, right where the big.
In the center.
I've
never seen
just
a place
north of
good.
there.
Okay.
Just hires to there.
Yeah.
And it's hollower than it is at the end of the other beach. Blowout, and so. Anyways, it got big there several times, like Ocean Beach style big. It's very opened up, from the west. And I was on my biggest, 6'8", Mapaholis, and it was not enough. And I felt like it was a toothpick out there, and it would get me into that 3/4 zone where you've got to try and, it's got to be steep enough for you to get it. And if you don't, you're going to get pounded. And so when those long periods would come, I'd be in that 3/4 zone, just outside the impact zone. So I'd have to scrape it and scramble. Just too much, dude. We're not getting any younger. My shoulders aren't getting any newer. This stuff's, they ain't getting any easier. So I screwed myself with not having the right board, or just not even. I shouldn't even have been probably trying to surf it on these boards, because it's so slopey out there when it's that big.
Okay.
It's lined up, but it's slopey. And so you got to have my buddies that were getting waves there.
You need something to get in a little earlier? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. My buddies that were getting waves there, this guy, Jim Wood, he was riding. He's a Long Beach legend, too.
That guy's cool.
He's like the Phil Edwards of Long Beach, the goofy-footed Phil Edwards of Long Beach. Jim Wood was riding a 10-2 Kurt Augsburger, and he was getting in way outside. getting like triple overhead for sure. Yeah, and at least. And then seriously, it was big. He's a crazy guy.
Yeah.
And
I surfed with him that one day with you guys like a month ago.
He's cool, but you should see him charge. It makes you. Yeah, he's almost tried to drown me. Nuts. He's way in a different realm. I'm a hot dog, and this guy was a crazy man. Anyways,
different boards, wrong boards.
Yeah. Anyways, fuck.
Yeah, we're talking about bring the wrong board and showing up and like, I'm bummed.
Oh, okay. No, see, he gave me shit. So my friends were giving me board. They were getting good boards. He smokes more weed, Dave. The guys that were giving me board. This is a public service announcement. Don't do this at home, kids. The dudes that were getting waves this winter at Bolsa, everybody was either watching or getting pounded. The dudes were getting waves were Jim Wood on these big, huge board, or Mark Perry. You know Perry, the long hair. Yeah. Perry's a freaking animal. It was him, and he was riding an 8-foot quad, and then with no rocker, fish, and Steve Thomas. And Steve Thomas was like riding a 9.3 with it was a 3 1/4, and he's like 135 pounds dripping wet.
Yeah.
So these guys were riding huge boards with not much rocker, and they were getting in fast and getting in early, and I wasn't getting shit but pounded. So I got a bunch of crap from Jim Wood. He gave me a bunch of crap. He goes, I can't believe you've got all those boards for 3 feet and under, or something goes for head high and under. He said, you got all those head high boards. You got nothing for out here. And I was just like so bummed, dude. And I was like, so I tried to order some boards, some big boards in the winter, and because of this COVID thing and all that garbage,
right?
It's a pain, yeah. And so I got a hold of Kurt Oxberger, local legend here in town in Seal Beach, and he's just like, well, Dave, it'll be March probably by the time you get it.
The next winter.
I'm like, ugh. So I've taken the wrong board a few times.
Do you work around waves?
What's that?
Do you work around waves? Like if you know the waves are coming, are you taking the day off of work?
Oh, yeah, but you know what? But those reports, you got to be really on it, because the reports you got to like mix them all up. Like all the different reports are different, and they're never the same, and everybody's got some little different take. And like yesterday was a bad call, and so I'm just saying, you can't really, you got to really know it's going to happen for sure.
So you're going more spontaneous, like you're checking the wind, tide.
And I keep my eyes on the cams a lot. Just to know, I know if it's going to be,
well, you're only like 4 miles back.
Yeah, it only takes about a few minutes to get to the beach. It's up the street and around the corner from here, but still, it's not like being right there where you can check the conditions
right, you're not
all
living
the time.
on the beach.
No,
so you can watch Donahue and go surf after.
There you go. This guy's fucking Mike Steele is a funny guy. I swear.
So, do you consider yourself more of an underground guy, or do you like exposure?
I'm pretty underground, man. I mean, I don't really toot my horn. When I was younger, I probably thought I was the coolest thing in the walk, but I'm just an idiot like everybody else. So, full of bad decision making, and life makes you who you end up being, and it's kicked me in the butt a few times and knocked me in the nuts several times, and brought me back down to the ground, and trying to be a little more myself and humble, and not be. Does
that come with age?
I guess it did. Yeah, getting kicked in the ass by life, it comes with age. I guess it takes years to get kicked in the ass, and it takes time to get kicked in the ass. So, and to come back from fighting,
Okay. Have you had a fight in the water? Like a fist fight?
Yeah. Well, shit.
Tell us one.
Lots of that. Yeah, just
could be someone else's fault or yours.
Just growing up around. We've surfed all around here and stuff in Long Beach and Seal and all that. But we've had like lots of little fights and stuff. Like Mike Wells would he'd bite the nose of your board off and stuff like that. And I've had definitely lots of stuff where I got this. The best one of them all is the first fight that I ever got into.
All right, let's hear it.
Because every other fight didn't end like that. The first fight I ever got into on the beach in front of anybody was all my Long Beach, my Belmont buddies, Roger Top, Kenji Easley, Aaron Wilson, Jimmy Scott, and probably one other guy, Todd Falcone. We were all over at Southside. Southside used to break a lot back then, like it doesn't now.
Yeah,
And
super good and fun.
we could surf there almost all year long. On the Southwest, it would break. So we were there in the summer one day, and
Sitting right off like
just off the pier, yeah. And I remember giving this. There was a local, not a local, but a big, huge moke that was hanging out down there, and he was huge. He was like 350 pounds or something.
Okay.
And he was about 30 something, maybe late 20s or something.
And how old are you? Teenager?
15, but
Okay.
I was already big like I am now. I
Yeah.
grew up. I was already like 6 feet at 13.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
So this guy, I was giving him the business in the water. I was already learning how to give people the business. It was so stupid. And I'm sitting there after the surf, and we're on Southside just kicking, and I'm laying there in the sand. We probably just burned one or something, who knows what. And he comes up, and we're all standing there, you know, and we got our boards too. But I'm just laying on my towel, and I'm sitting or whatever. And he goes, "You the white boy talking shit out in the water?" And I go, "Yeah." And I go to get up, and I swear, Mike, as soon as I get up, and I'm 15, bro,
Yeah.
as soon as I go to get up, this guy punched me to a dude. I'm not kidding you. I went to the stars, dude.
Geez.
And I went out.
Did you know it was coming?
No,
Oh,
dude. I
shit.
was just barely getting up like this, and I was like, boom, whacked me. Really into outer space, dude. I saw stars,
shit.
and I was out. I was totally out. He knocked me out, and it was on my left side of my jaw, and I had a little cute dimple there when I was a kid. Now it's a big, huge, long line because I bit into my cheek as soon as he.
Oh shit! I can see it. Yeah.
It was gnarly.
That's a true story, huh?
Dude, and so the guy, this
the
is
line. That's
this is
crazy.
before the lifeguards and shit were hanging out, and
Yeah.
the cops had a police substation there with coffee.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It was before that.
Yeah, a little more
And
wild back then.
So this guy, and I wake up. I was probably out like 5 seconds or more, and I wake up with him on top of me.
Oh, he wasn't letting go. He wasn't stopping.
And I see the blood. And I'm like, oh, and it kind of made me freak out. And my buddies, they got behind me or behind him with their, because the thrusters were pointy nose back then and had good glass
Super,
on them.
yeah.
They're thicker, you know,
Yeah.
than the ones now. They weren't so disposable. And these guys got their boards and pointed them at him.
smart.
And he looked around. He got up off me.
Yeah.
And in the time that he got off me and turned around to them and looked at them, white boys, and he was just like tripping on them. And they were just like, "Ah," right? They were tripping on him. They all backed away. But he was still, they had his attention. And in that time, I cleared off my face and all this blood. I'm like, oh my gosh. I get up and I see this big, the pier had been falling down at that time and all this stuff had been going on. And I took this big piling thing, a piece of a board, like an 8x4 or something out of the water.
Yeah.
And it had nails hanging out of it and shit. I grabbed it and I'm running up, going to club him over the head, right?
Okay.
Because I was from Maywood. I'm a crazy white dude.
Yeah.
And I'm nuts, dude. And so I fucking was going to pound this guy over the head. And he turns around as I'm running up to him with this thing, and he goes, "White boy, you better not miss." And I go, "Oh!" And I turn around, and I go, "Oh!"
He psyched you out.
I'm like, "Whoa!" And I put the brakes on, turn around, and I freaking put that board back. and these people are, leave those kids alone. And he's like, "Shut up, white people! I'll kill you! I'm crazy!" And he was just going nuts, dude. It was rad. And so that was my first fight, man. I got put into outer space. So anybody that punched me.
So what'd you learn from that?
I learned that I could take a good punch, man. Because after that, I could take anybody's punch and just look at them. Yeah, it was so.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's
not offering it to anybody though. Not now.
What about social media? How do you feel about social media?
It's good and bad, man. It's like it can be good for getting in contact with people and getting to know people and stuff that you didn't.
Or you haven't seen in a while, maybe.
Yeah, that's been really rad. I can, communicate with my family around the country.
Okay.
I can communicate with my friends that I haven't seen in years and years, and get talk to people and get to know people that I would have liked to have known before and don't know as well now, or don't know as well now and would like to, and so you get some new friendships from it, and then you get all this other negative, weird politico, right and wrong and politically correct bull crap, and that's where I draw the line, man. I almost got suckered into the politics there for just a second or two, and because I'm more conservative in my views, but I lean kind of into the middle, and that people can't accept that. And so, but I can accept the way they think, but some people can't accept the way I think. So I lost some friends on the social media stuff from that.
Okay.
And they accused me, because I'm blonde haired and blue eyed, they accused me of like being some sort of Nazi and racist. And, you know, and from our generation and where we're from, Mike, dude, we had friends of every.
Yeah, I know it was a melting pot for sure.
Yeah, dude, still have friends that are just, I don't see skin color, especially for where I'm from.
Yeah.
I was the only white kid in town where I'm from. I don't see skin color.
Yeah.
I see that our blood's the same color. You know, we're all children under God. So it's kind of weird how that whole thing, you know, that now it seems like they're trying to separate us and make us go backwards in this, where our generation kind of grew out of that and became the best it could be. We all got
At least
along.
in Southern California, at least in Long Beach.
It was great, dude. I'm telling you, we really had
I don't know how it was in Oklahoma, but
that's true. It could be different there. You know, I'm sure the rednecks were giving the boys some stuff, but we don't know about that stuff here because it was different here. So
yeah, for sure.
We can only speak for that, but yeah.
And besides skateboarding and surfing, you have any other hobbies?
I'm a musician.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second.
I've been playing music since I was like 6. You know, I got my first guitar, and after that, I went nuts on music and all that stuff. You know, as soon as like I got records. My dad was into music. He really gave me the gift. He's been gone now. He died on my birthday 4 years ago. Rest in peace, Pops. But yeah, he gave me the gift of music. Even though he wasn't a musician himself, he had the juice. He had the talent. He could just pick it up and play the piano by ear if he wanted to and stuff like that. So I got turned on to music at an early age, dude. Like listening to Pink Floyd coming through the house. And my dad was like an audiophile. I had these really expensive stereos. And so I remember just hearing first, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon in the crib practically. I was just a kid hearing that. It's like loud as you can believe it. So. Yeah. That can, now all
the mayor of Maywood was blasting.
Yeah, he was. He didn't do drugs. My dad was a straight character. I've always been the kind of straightest character around all my friends too.
Okay.
And so I got that, I guess, from my dad too. My dad was the straightest character around all his crooked friends. Yeah. Deviates or whatever of the 70s or 60s, 70s. But anyways, I got the music thing from my pops, and I got my first guitar when I was 12 or 6. And then, and just mocked and mimicked yourself in the mirror with your buddies. My buddy up the street, we'd have the, kiss parties where we'd act like we were kissed. As soon as Alive came out, Kiss Alive in 75, that was it. Okay. Like I'm like, oh, this is it, dude, Yeah. And so I want to do that, and sign me up for that. So
when did you get your first instrument? What was it?
It was just an acoustic guitar, and then I got an electric guitar for Christmas in '75, and it was
8 then or something. No?
It was just this little junky Jordan guitar with a Sears guitar with a Jordan 15 amp, and just the biggest garbage you can imagine. '70s trash from the Sears catalog. It's great. Killer stuff. It'd be worth something now.
Yeah.
And, but I got that, and I started, wailing around on the guitar. And then when I moved to Belmont Shore, that's when, when the punk rock was happening.
Right. Yeah.
And man, I went, the local band in town was the Falling Idols.
Yep.
And they were our local TSOL. TSOL was from Long Beach to Huntington as well, but Jack and Todd Barnes, they were from more like East Long Beach, and so our part of Long Beach in the Shore was Falling Idols. They were Red Alert first, but Falling Idols was the stuff, and so that was kind of like we had our little a live music scene going on there in Belmont Shore, and my first introduction to music instruments, like in real time, where I had physical access to them, was Billy Wilson, Eric from Sublime. Eric wasn't playing music yet on the guitars or drums. He was playing the trumpet.
Okay.
And in marching bands and stuff.
Yeah.
He was a little bit younger than us. I think he might be your age.
He's my age.
Yeah. And his dad was a great jazz drummer from the Birdland West Long Beach era. Very well known, Billy was. And so he was the nicest guy, dude. He had his Slingerland drum set in the garage, and freaking Ampeg bass head, and just like a bass, an old Orlando bass in there. Dude, I was like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, oh, so I learned. I'm like, okay, so.
So was Eric's dad teach you guys?
No, but he just had it there sitting there.
So you could play with it.
Yeah, and we were little punk rock kids, and Eric would watch us and stuff, and then he fell in. But one day, so I became the drummer, okay? And we had this one kid. There was 2 kids in town that could play guitar at that time. This guy, Phil Seville. And Phil could play guitar, and my buddy Aaron Wilson. He had all the Kiss songs, all the Zeppelin tunes down. The guy was rad. So Aaron was our guy, and so I didn't need to worry about guitar because Aaron was the guy. And so we didn't really have a bass yet, but I became the drummer. So the first thing I ever bought with my own money was a drum set. Bought it off Greg Barry's brother, Dick Barry. His older buddy, Dickie Barry. Dick Barry. Great name. But yeah, Dick Barry. I bought
Greg's brother. Yeah.
I bought a half a drum set off of him in 1981, I think. And so I became the drummer, and we had a band called Second Sight. And it was like a little, like Little Rascals of punk rock in Belmont Shore. And it was all do-it-yourself and stuff, stencils and T-shirts and ripped up pants and all that crap, and punk rock and whatever, and chicks. It was cool. Smoking cloves.
Nasty.
Totally nasty. And drinking bad beer. But so I ended up at that first learning how to having the instruments in my hands over at Eric's dad's house. One day his dad comes up and says, "Hey, there's this kid that's a really good drummer that just moved in across the alley. You guys can come meet him. You guys kind of come see him." We're like, okay. Yeah. So we all go over there. We follow Billy, and there's this kid, a zitty kid with a bowl haircut, a Dutch boy.
Yeah.
And he's got this sick kid with these drums everywhere, rototoms, black spray painted kit, and he's firing on the thing. And it scared me. And his name's Bud Gaw. He just moved to town. He was living with his stepdad, Floyd, and right there in Belmont Shore, right up the street from me. And so basically, I decided, okay, this guy rips. I'm never going to be this good. These guys way ahead of me. I'm never going to be able to catch up. So I decided, no drums, Dave. So I gave up drums, and I said, what am I going to do? So I ended up... I had a bass that I bought.
So Bud took your job.
Oh, dude! As soon as I saw him, I'm like, done.
Gotcha.
And so I took a bass because this guy that played in Phil Seville's band, the Cyclones, Mike, he had a bass for sale, and I was buying it because I had an extra $50 because the crappy drum set I bought off of Dick. That sounded weird. Anyways, I'm
glad you're on that.
The crappy drum, it's my only thing I got. The crappy drum set that I had gave me $50 extra to buy this bass. So I bought the bass, and it sat at my house. And man, that was it. I just went, I'm going to be Gene Simmons from Kiss on this thing. I'm going to check this. I'm going to be like Geezer Butler from Sabbath.
Sick.
I'm going to check this thing out.
Yeah.
And so it was mine. I'm like, that's it. And so I became this bass player guy after learning how to play guitar and then buying the drums. I got into bass. Like I was like, okay, this is going to be my job now. I'm going to learn how to play it. And I remember learning some of the first stuff I learned was like some, like the Pretenders stuff and some other cool bass lines that were like really walking and real melodic. So it got me started in that direction to move my hands really fast, like early,
Yeah.
And so the guy who set me on my way was the guitar player that was in our band Second Sight, Aaron Wilson. He and my buddy Andy Troy and I had been in that band for a bit, and we were just young kids. And he set me on my way. He showed me at first little bass lines and stuff, and I ended up becoming my own little monster, and just kind of formally self-taught, So yeah, and then
where does that lead you today? Like, so you're teaching?
I ended up going to Long Beach City and learning about music after performing and being punk rock and doing all that stuff. After the punk rock stuff, you can only go so far before you start learning how to play your instrument. And when you start learning how you play your instrument, you go to other types of music, or things you've heard before in the past, just to figure it out. So I went to Long Beach City, and dude, they had the best. That Lakewood campus, they had the best funding, dude. Like, I guess the old people in town, those rich, whatever people had some good money. They
throwing some money out.
And so the music department there was like second to none, dude. I got the best musical education there. Learned, got turned on to jazz and fusion, and they had the raddest jazz guitarists come to town, like Joe Pass and Howard Roberts and Barney Kessel. Like the very best guys in the world would come by and hang out at our thing. We'd play with them. I got to jam the ensemble with them, where I'd be playing drums or I'd be playing bass and comping guitar behind them. It was so sick, dude. And it was like literally $10 a unit.
Wow. Yeah,
it was so cheap, dude. It was insane.
It's probably not that cheap anymore.
Oh, dude, it's expensive now. But so we just got this really good. I got a really good musical upbringing through Long Beach City, and I became a performer in this band called the Closet Classics for years.
Yeah, I remember you guys.
And we played everywhere, everybody's parties for years, and then we kind of became professional. We started playing in the clubs, and or at least trying to be professional, and that didn't work out. I mean, it was cool, but we were young. We were like, barely even old enough to even get in these bars. And, like the guy that ran Panama Joe's, this guy, I had a fake ID forever, and he knew I was the guy that ran the bar was Franchino, and this guy in the back, Mike Franchino, the dude with the big coked out mustache. This guy, dude, he knew it, and he just knew I was not 21 forever, and he just hated me. Well, I finally, when I played Panama Joe's, dude,
showing the real ID.
He asked, he like card that guy, and they fucking carded me, and there he is, and I knew it. He was so mad, dude. Yeah, so we were young playing, and we were playing a lot of these adult cokehead parties and weddings, and then we went on to playing, the clubs and stuff. And at that time was the pay to play type of thing,
Okay, yeah.
where you like buy the ticket, they give you the tickets to sell yourself.
You get your own funding. Yeah.
Ridiculous. Yeah, they still do that, I think, too.
Rip you guys off.
Yeah, and then
or you got to promote yourself big time.
Yeah, it's all about you. It's all about you got to be your own pimp for sure.
Yeah.
But after the Closet Classics, I ended up working at the local record store, the Warehouse on Belmont Shore there and stuff, and getting a good record collection going off of that place, and a good CD collection when they came out, and tapes. I collected all that stuff, all the music I liked, and through that, and met some cool people through that place too. There a lot of musicians would work at record stores.
Yeah.
So I got into wanting to go to Long Beach State's music program, and I auditioned for it. This guy Richard Smith was the guy with commercial music was what I was going to be going into, and they're just as soon as I got accepted to the class, and it's going to be commercial music for life, Dave. Yeah, okay, I'm going to be a commercial music major, blah blah blah, and I go into it, and all the funding went south, and this is like 1988 or 89, I think.
Okay.
And all the funding for that music program went zero, and so I ended up. Just like, okay, I got to change my major.
All right.
Music's not going to do it for me here. So I ended up having to do all that, and it kind of sucked. I wanted to stay with music. You know?
Yeah.
But over the years, I've worked and been in corporate healthcare for 25 years, and so I was able to do the music too.
Okay.
And because I had the day job. And which allowed me to run the skate company as well and stuff too.
You got your hand in everything. Surfing, skating,
right, baby.
music,
Yeah.
Southern California guy.
That's right. the jack off of all trades. The jackass of all trades.
There you go.
But after that I ended up getting in some groups that were actually really cool. This group that was on Skunk and Long Beach Records called Glue Factory. We did a CD. We're on a couple of different compilations from Long Beach Records, and then we did a CD, a full length, like 13 songs, and it was pretty much all revolved around the bass. It was basically me and the singer Mike Davis. He was of Long Beach Secret Hates fame. He and I had a really good relationship. We hit it off big, dude. Like I was like Secret Hate's big fan. He knew me from going to all the shows, and he knew me from the water. Yeah. And I was a lot younger than those guys, so he knew me as that way. He could slap me around if he wanted to, but he really liked my bass playing, and so he would I would play him my stuff, and then he would learn. He would just write his lyrics right off of my bass lines, and so we made this album called Psycho Drops, Psycho Drops, Psycho Drops, acid or whatever, right? And so we made that, and we toured and did some stuff on the West Coast here and did a lot of that, at these junky places that they have for people to play. And then, we did a few things, and then, marriage and kids and all that stuff gets in the way of doing that. You got to figure out, well, day job. So, and then through all that, there's been other groups I've been in that were pretty good, but most of the time I've done a lot of, in between the groups that I've been in, I've done a lot of like studio sound work and stuff where people need tracks. And back in the day, you would go to their studio and do it right there for them, and they would pay you. They'd give you a check right there or something. Yeah. You'd sell your line, but now it's all computer.
Sick.
So you don't even have to
leave
go.
the living room.
But I don't have that tech now, so I gotta I gotta get myself up to that level.
Yeah, you can build a home studio for nothing probably.
Yeah, but it's like it's all plugins. It's very small. It's like it's nothing now. But I'm more the
portable.
I got into the studio stuff myself for a while, and it's like I went, dude. After a while, it's like being the shaper. And being the
you
surfer.
don't want it to become a job. You want it to be fun.
Yeah, it's like being the shaper and the server. No, I want to just be the guy that's playing it. I don't want to be.
I
don't want to be doing all this stuff with the knobs and all that. I want to just play it. Yeah. So I just over the years I did a lot of. I learned how to. Bass wasn't my only thing. I have discovered I had a talent in playing since I learned guitar and stuff since I was a little kid before the bass. I learned that I had talent in stringed instruments. Okay. So I took that talent and learned how to play a whole bunch of stringed instruments too, like banjos and ukuleles of all kinds, and tunings and slide guitar, Hawaiian guitar, blues, the lap steel. That
so you're
kind
into
of
everything
stuff.
now.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Bluegrass crap and all that kind of stuff. And I was in a ukulele band
that sounds
in
fun.
2000 called Big Uke Throbbin'. And they were pretty cool. We did some pretty cool gigs. It was pre kind of internet chat room era. They just started up. The internet started going around that, like 1999, 2000, around that time. Started the chat room message board era started going off, and we did some of these these uke concerts for United Ukulele Freedom Front. These goofy dudes from Washington State.
Right on.
And they'd come down and they'd have these big shows, and we'd play them, and
cool.
they'd have these crazy eclectic ukulele bands. And we got known at that time around the Silver Lake, area, south, Pasadena. Yeah, we got known for playing up there, and people were digging us at some of those places in that area. And we ended up being in this documentary called "Rock That Uke" that these two guys we met off the internet just came by, and they were making this rad documentary, and it was a pleasure to be in it. We got to play our stuff. It was
What's the name of the movie?
Rock That Uke.
Rock That Uke.
Yeah, it was a documentary.
Where do you find that?
I don't even know.
Is it on YouTube maybe? Or not
it could be. The guy's name was like
you can Google that.
Frank Doring, I think, was the
okay, cool.
guy. Anyways, we did that, and then my next thing after that was the Stymies, and we brought forever and ever since his dad showed us his first instruments and stuff. Eric and I from Sublime have been really good friends forever and ever, just really just good buddies. Yeah. And we've always had a real good relationship. Never a funny moment at all. Just always really cool. Yeah. And never no problems. And so we got him in the group, and it was rad. Like his dad, who's been passed away for years, would be so stoked because Eric was stoked on us as he was getting into drums. Yeah. So it was just in time we started getting this band, the Stymies, together, and so he was our drummer. And he plays bass, and in the band, in the Sublime thing, he's their bass guy.
He likes to mix it. He's a musician.
Yeah, he became a really good musician as well, a talented guy, and so it was a pleasure, man. We had him playing drums and stuff in the Stymies, and we played a bunch of gigs, and it was rad. It was very sick,
Awesome.
Life got in the way though of that one, and people having babies and divorces and kids and all this, jobs and stuff, and so you have to figure, is it going to be worth it? So we had to put it back on the shelf for a bit. So
maybe it'll come back one day.
Yeah, right now I'm just like giving music lessons.
Cool.
Yeah, just to keep it going, keep my fingers going. I play at my church too.
Okay.
Yeah.
What church?
Calvary Chapel, Los Alamitos.
Los Alamitos.
Yes. Yeah.
Any final words from Dave?
The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. That's
the wrong one.
That's all I got.
Well, thanks so
I'm
much.
just a dipshit just like anybody else, but I got a long ass story just like everybody does too.
Thank you. You had great stories, though. I'm stoked. Thank you so much for doing the interview, Dave.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm glad I got to freaking apologize to you. That's the rad part. Everybody, whoever listens to this can witness that, yes, I was a complete dick for my whole life in the water.
It was mutual, I'm sure.
I've actually said sorry to a whole bunch of people and become friends with people for doing that. So it was kind of cool.
No, unnecessary, but thank you so much. And I also apologize. So
I got one last word.
Oh, there we go.
You know what, you guys that are freaking wave hogs and think you're all so good out there?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Freaking, you caught a bunch of waves. You know what you can do. You're already rad. You've already done it, and you've already, you know what you can do. Just give a few away, man.
There you go.
And I'm not talking about to the Costco guys. No, you don't need to give them any. But give them away to that Grom that's struggling out there amongst the loggers and the kooks and those goons on the freaking Nerf boards and stuff. Yeah, give those guys. Give the kids some waves, man.
There you go.
Seriously.
All right, Dave. Thanks a lot, man. No, that's good final words. You came over there. All right. All right, everyone. This is Mike at Quivercast. I'll see you guys in the lineup. Later. Thanks, everyone, for joining us this week. If you liked the episode, hit subscribe. Give us 5 stars or leave a review. Like us on Instagram, quiver_cast. Music brought to you by Barry Snyder, Punk Rock Grandpa. You guys all have a good week, and I'll see you in the lineup. Hey, you guys, Endless Summer box set. This thing is legit. It's authentic, numbered certificate in it. It has a 5-frame film strip from the original print. You will literally own a piece of history. It has a specially minted bronze medallion. Dude, that thing's sick. Okay, there's so much more here. Go to the show notes. There's a link on there. Go check this piece of history out. This thing's rad. Seriously. Smithsonian American History Museum has it. It took 4 years of research with 3.5 in production, all hand assembled. This thing's rad. So much to this awesome box set. Remastered DVD, sharper images than the original film, but dude, this thing's so sick. Link in the show notes.